Hey guys, today I want to do a little something different that's not gameplay related. I just recently watched well, a, a very good video from someone on YouTube today. In fact, less than, I want to say 10 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago. It doesn't really matter. I mean, and it got me really wanting to make a video like this myself, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it. The background you see behind me, this is my personal message to Capcom because that's what his video was about, and I have never actually done anything like this before. But if anyone out there is willing to listen to this, then please just hear me out, okay? Because this is probably be the only time that I speak out about this as well. I mean, personally, I don't go into the whole backstory of my name and stuff, but for reference on this point, my name is actually, well, the reason I call myself Dark Zero is because I'm inspired by this guy right behind me. When I first played Mega Man X, this guy right here was like the very reason I started getting into it. I mean, I have played like Mega Man 1 and 2, never finished them, never got close because I always died at the very beginning and never really had the skill to even so much as try anymore after that. Mega Man X, however, yeah, that game was the personification and inspiration for me actually getting into the gaming world. Like the nail in the coffin, basically, so to speak. Except there's no coffin in that point. But yeah, and this is basically just going to be me like going on and on, by the way, in case it's not apparent. But again, just please hear me out. The thing is, I honestly agree with the guy's video. 100? No, no, no. 2 billion%. I mean, Capcom, I really hope you do actually watch the guy's video as well. I will reference it at some point if I mean, hopefully he won't mind if I reference it or at least mention it. I mean, I haven't really asked him flat out if I could, but hopefully he won't mind. But still, I'll probably ask after the video and maybe like have a link to his video as well at the end. But yeah, uh, the guy in question is basically like Reploid Revio, I think it was. I know he basically personifies himself as a Reploid, so and he makes very good points on everything when it comes to this stuff. I mean, he did say that he does not intend to speak for the entirety of the fan base, which I can understand because a lot of people have their own opinions and stuff, myself included, which I'm going to mention right here. I'm not entirely speaking for everyone as well. I'm just putting my point out there. But to reference one of his, well, actually, no, no, no. Let me rephrase. To basically put a point in terms of, okay, I honestly don't know where I'm going with this. Again, I have never done a video like this before, so I'm just going to come out and say it. We definitely need a new Mega Man game. We don't need like a time gap of like 4, 5, even 10 years apart. That is just ridiculous. I mean, I can understand that Capcom may be having huge difficulties in choosing on what they want to do, whether they want to just like let the franchise die and not tell us, which again is kind of, well, it's just really messed up. Really, really messed up. I mean, if you announce that Mega Man is officially dead, then at least say so, so we can at least like do something. Like give us permission to make our own Mega Man stuff for one. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that's already made fan games and stuff that is based around the Mega Man series. Most of that stuff has, in fact, not been, well, I'm not sure if anyone out there has actually gotten in trouble with Capcom personally, but if they have, then it's justified at the moment because Capcom obviously has the rights to Mega Man still. I mean, the fact that they're not doing anything really with Mega Man except for like Mega Man 11, which I never personally played because I did not have the money to buy Mega Man 11. I mean, I have played Mega Man X Dive, and frankly, that game was fun for me, and at the same time, it just didn't really spark anything with me, really. I mean, I haven't played it all that much because of the gotcha gimmick, but yeah. I mean, if I ever get the money, I will eventually get the offline version, but the gotcha gimmick, yeah, it's still a gotcha. I mean, online, offline, I just don't really like games like that, really. I'm more of a playthrough type person. I mean, I personally, with a passion, enjoyed Mega Man Command Mission. And frankly, I would not be upset if they made a second version of that, like a second chapter to it. Because that game just really lit a fire in me that I haven't felt since Mega Man X. Well, I mean, yeah, Mega Man X was like the spark, and X2 through, I want to say, X5, I think, was basically the pinnacle of where I stood. I mean, X5 never really got finished in where I stand on that, but it was still a pretty good game. And frankly, I have an idea on, if anything, on how X8 could basically be revived as well. I mean, it won't exactly be a standard story based around Mega Man or Zero for that matter, but around a certain character that has never been mentioned since X8. And of course, I'm talking about Axel. I mean, Axel did have a debut, like I think it was, what was it, X7, I think? I don't really remember. I mean, I know that one of the Mega Man X games wasn't quite as gameplay fluent, but it was still a pretty good game from what I remember in terms of like seeing gameplay for it at any rate. I mean, I have never actually played it myself. I mean, I kind of want to now that I mention it, but yeah, I'll probably hold off on it all the same, just until I'm fully capable of figuring out whether or not I can actually get a hold of a X7. I mean, I do have from a video that I actually played when my internet was out, which again, I actually had my buddy Monkey upload that video, and well, it was basically a nightmare to say the least because my emulator was not having a fun time with anything. But anyway, getting past that, uh, what I'm trying to say is, Capcom, if any of you guys actually listen to this, please, please, just make another Mega Man game. I mean, obviously, the fan base wants it. I mean, that point has been stretched far beyond the limits of even the internet by now. So surely you're listening, or you're pretending to not listen at the very least. I mean, come on, just how long do you think you can keep this up for? I mean, I'm going to try not to go on a big spew here on why you should listen, because that would just damage the whole message, I think. But still, if you're going to do something, then please just give us some kind of indication of what you're capable of, like, coming out with. And if you need an idea for, like, maybe a continuation of X8, then base it around a character that isn't Mega Man or Zero. I mean, it'll still be a Mega Man game. Just give Axel his debut. I mean, I know a lot of people probably don't like Axel, but in my opinion, he has a bit of shine to him. I mean, it could be like I don't know. I mean, in X8, he kind of reminded me of Zero in some ways because he was a bit cocky at times. Okay, technically he comes off as cocky all the time, but hey, he's still a pretty good character. And frankly, when I saw his crystal on his forehead get completely smashed at the end of X8, which, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't actually watched like X8 or played it for that matter, I am sorry for that. But it's never really. I mean, obviously he's still alive at the end of it. I mean, if just barely. But I kind of want to see a story of like of what happens to him just before the like Mega Man Zero or ZX saga. I mean, he's just like never mentioned again after X8, which, in my opinion, is just like, well, I mean, I don't know. He's just like an unfinished character, really. I mean, he could have a whole new storyline for himself. Maybe like, well, I'm just spitballing here still, but just give him like some kind of story on what happens to him, like during the time that Zero actually has to go into hibernation or something, and X just completely gives up his whole like getting out there on the front line to try and save the world. I mean, it was pretty apparent that X gets tired of the whole like war and stuff happening all over again. I mean, just give Axel like some kind of debut at least. Maybe just like reverberate the franchise that way. I mean, again, I don't think everyone enjoys Axel. I mean, I know that he's kind of a hit and miss character for myself personally, but still, he does have a little bit of potential. I mean, it could actually work and it could not. I mean, what do I know? I'm not a Capcom developer. I'm not anything really. I'm just like many others, a fan of a good series. I mean, again, I based my name around Zero himself. I mean, at the time, it was like on the 360, so everyone thought I was referencing a game called what was it? Uh, what was the name of the game actually? I can't remember. Legacy Dark Zero, I think, or something Zero. I know that much. Either way, it was definitely not a Mega Man game. But my name in general did in fact was in fact inspired by Zero himself from the Mega Man series, not from a different game at all. I mean, again, this is just like me just winging out an idea. And I don't know how well received this video is going to be, but still, I say again, if Capcom or someone who works for Capcom is listening, then please do something, anything. I mean, I honestly completely agree to the to the to the other dude's video. I mean, I agree with it so much that I was literally crying at the end of it. Hell, before the end, like around the middle-ish. I mean, his video is over 50 minutes long, and I watched it start to finish because I enjoy what he has to say. And he makes very good points. I mean, I'm not going to show the video. I will, like I said, probably leave a link in it or link in the video in my video to his video, so for whoever wants to watch it can. And I definitely hope he won't mind if I do that. But still, this has to be said. I mean, he does make very strong points. So strong, in fact, that it has finally made me decide to break my silence on not saying anything at all and posting this video, which will be the first and most likely only video that I post. Because I'm not entirely sure if anyone actually will care about my opinion on this or not. I mean, still, it's my opinion and I'm going to stick to it. And I just hope that if anyone does listen to this, they don't think that I'm rambling just because I want to ramble about it. Because, frankly, I have spent years and years of being just silent about it. I mean, I have long since given up hope that Capcom even so much as wanted to bring out a new X-Men or new Mega Man game. Can't believe I said X-Men. But yeah, the bottom line is if you're going to actually do something Capcom, then just do it. I mean, if Mega Man does get revived, I mean, obviously you did a very good job with Mega Man 11, even though the guy in charge of that resigned before anything else could be brought out, which I find a bit suspicious, but I'm sure the guy probably had reasons for leaving all the same. I mean, whether he was fired or just, I don't know, had family problems to deal with and couldn't fulfill the promises that he had made, then yeah, I honestly can't say I blame the guy. I mean, who can say what happens in your like in your franchise, right? I mean, if you guys decide to like just and sorry about saying this, but if you decide to half-ass something like Mega Man, then that's on you. But Mega Man 11 again basically broke a record like all your other Mega Man games. I mean, obviously the collection series did massive. I mean, that was your biggest sellers, along with well, whatever other Mega Man games he brought out, not including the not including the mobile games, obviously, because I mean, it's fine if you want to make mobile games of Mega Man, but if you're just going to like barely touch on them and make them junk, I mean, I'm saying they're junk, but I don't really know myself because I never got a chance to play them because I'm not a mobile person or anything like that. I mean, X Dive was obviously a mobile game, but I basically played the Steam version of that. The online Steam version, I might add, which, again, was a hit and a miss for me. I mean, the main character that I played was Zero because Zero is my go-to guy. He's basically like, okay, so frankly, Zero reminded me of Proto Man a lot about Proto Man. I mean, obviously he's a different character. I mean, that much is apparent because it shows that in like one of the Mega Man Legacy collections, Proto Man basically had like a very fatal flaw with him, namely that his core was completely unstable. I mean, that became even more apparent in the comic series, which I did manage to read a little bit here and there. I mean, sadly, I don't have the big bulky comic anymore that I had. But yeah, I have read quite a bit of Mega Man. I played quite a bit of Mega Man, even though it was just a small majority. Mega Man Legends 1, for example, which I did take plenty of time to complete. That was way back when I had a PlayStation still. I mean, I kind of hesitate to play Mega Man Legacy on an emulator at the moment, mainly because I mean I can obviously play it, but the controller, yeah, I would have to try to figure out a good way to use my Xbox control for that because I forgot how clunky the control is when it comes to Mega Man Legends. I mean, it's clunky for me because the Mega Man Legends version that I played was for the N64. And yeah, I do have an N64 emulator on my computer. I mean, I kind of have to use emulators basically because I no longer have the consoles. And a good majority of the games that I want to play, I can't really get anymore because I either don't have the money or other reasons. I mean, if a new Mega Man game does get announced finally, and it actually, any Mega Man game for that matter, which even if they make a Command Mission 2 at this point, I would gladly pay more money than it's probably worth, personally. If I had the money on hand, I would immediately buy the game, as would probably any other fan out there. I mean, it doesn't have to be Command Mission 2 because again, I'm pretty sure a lot of people did not really care for Command Mission, but that game, it was like, for me, it was actually very good. I mean, it had like all the bases that I loved about it. It even had like a different story to it, which kind of seemed to me like it was trying to summarize something to kind of blend the like timeline together in a way, or at least base its own timeline around stuff. And I can honestly say that Axel did get a bit of shine to him. I mean, all I can say is like when it came to like Axel and Command Mission, him being able to transform into the bosses and stuff, even if it was only for a singular like type of animation for an attack base, it was still pretty darn good. I mean, it showed off his transformative abilities fairly well. I mean, it even gave off a little bit of a story base to him, where he was trying to find the basis of his origin, really. Like, who in fact made him. Which, I want to be surprised at this point that if Capcom were to make a story based around him, it would actually be very good. I mean, it's like Zero's backstory of having memories of someone who he does not flat out remember, which would be Dr. Wily. I mean, that's pretty apparent. Which, this is just me guessing here, but if Axel were in fact made by a mysterious creator who seemingly vanished, then the chances are Axel and Zero could in fact be of the same creator. I mean, it's pretty like apparent at the moment that I mean, if you think about it, Dr. Wily obviously has a bit of representation within the X series. I mean, X2, for example, a very big example. No one knew how to repair Zero. No one. And what does the main guy do in X2? He completely rebuilds him. I repeat, Zero gets completely rebuilt and modified, in fact, by a mysterious guy in X2. X3, well, I don't know about X3 really. I just know that, you know what, I'm just going to skip over to X4 because that has like a bit of animation for what I think would be a pretty good TV series, if a short one, in fact, where Zero basically has a dream slash nightmare of his past. And who happens to be the shadowy figure that we all know about from Mega Man X or Mega Man itself? Dr. Wily. I mean, Zero obviously doesn't remember him. I mean, how could he? His memories are still basically locked. Or maybe suppressed? I'm not really sure. Either way, he does, in fact, have recurring flashbacks during his hibernation process. A fact that becomes more apparent near the end of X4 because he has like a huge memory that kind of reverts everything together. I mean, I could basically go on and on about anything Zero related. I mean, I even have like a bit of a theory, if maybe just a made up one, on how Zero's whole entire story could basically be based around. I'm not going to go into it obviously because again, it's just my personal like basis on how Zero's story could in fact be done. And personally, I find that if Capcom wants to give Zero like his own background itself, then they can do so. In fact, I would actually enjoy it. Even if it's a TV series, I would still watch it. I mean, obviously he was given a pretty good story during the Mega Man Zero and ZX series. At least I think ZX. Yeah, I'm pretty sure ZX gave Zero like his own like ending to his own personal story. I mean, again, those are games that I have actually never actually played or finished. I just know them from like watching other people play them on YouTube. So, yeah, it's a bit of up in the air with me. There's a lot of Mega Man games that I have never actually got to play, and I mean a lot. But yeah, anyway, this is just like, again, me rambling. I know, and I am sorry for doing that. But either way, my point is this all the same. We definitely, myself included, want and most likely need a Mega Man game. Whether it's based around Axel, whether it's based around like Mega Man himself again, even if it's not a Mega Man X game, just please give us something. I mean, there's obviously been like a good amount of Mega Man games that you have never released. Legends 3, for example, which I have never heard of until I watched a video on it, and like a bunch of other games. I mean, even one in particular that I remember watching a trailer for, which is called Rockman Online, which is again mentioned in like the video that I watched, along with many others. I mean, all I gotta say is, if any Mega Man game gets made or remade, then yeah, it'll basically be a smash. I mean, Street Fighter is obviously your go-to game, as well as Monster Hunter, because Monster Hunter is, well, the biggest, if not the most massive monster out there in terms of a franchise. But come on, Mega Man deserves the love and attention that he needs. I mean, it's like what's another it's like Pac-Man just never getting the game release, but still being a very loved character. I mean, Pac-Man itself basically got plenty of love and attention. I'm not sure if they still make any Pac-Man games, but if they do, then obviously he's getting attention or getting paid attention to because the creator of Pac-Man basically treated that game like it was his own kid. and probably still does, assuming the guy that made Pac-Man is still around. I don't really know because I don't really go into like paying attention to that stuff really. But yeah, if the creator of Pac-Man is still around, then yeah, it's all the same. And if not, my point still stands that Pac-Man still got the love and attention he deserved. So why doesn't Mega Man? I mean, obviously, Mega Man deserves a lot of love and attention. I mean, Monster Hunter, Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, Street Fighter, every other Capcom game out there is getting a lot of affection put into being made. Meanwhile, Mega Man's basically on the back burner, just teetering on the edge of a blade, just waiting for whether or not he's going to live or gets into the chopping block, which is kind of grim for me to say, but yeah, it has to be said. It just has to be said. And frankly, I would be saddened to hear that Mega Man will never be released again, as will a lot of other people. But if you think about it, if Capcom does announce that Mega Man is no longer going to be part of their, like, what's the proper word for this here? Resource and development, I guess, then at least announce it so us fans could actually get permission from you guys to maybe make our own, like, X style, Mega Man style, any style type game. I mean, it would actually be the fairest way to go about things, don't you think? I mean, obviously, you're probably just sitting on Mega Man because you obviously see the money you can make in it. And I don't know anything about any, like, maybe projects that you're secretly working on or whatever. Because again, I don't bother to pay attention to that stuff because I'm still on quite a way from the fence because I stopped believing that Mega Man would ever be resurrected at this point. I mean, I myself just turned 35 today. Yeah, that's right. Today happens to be my birthday. And frankly, I was honestly not going to make a video today. But after seeing the video that I saw, it just made me want to make this. And this video is probably going to be quite long, so it's going to be converted into several parts. In fact, I'm reaching 40 minutes on the video currently. So it's probably going to be chopped in like maybe half or maybe a few shorter videos. Either way, it's going to be like several parts. And I'm okay with that. I am definitely okay with this being in different parts because it'll give anyone who watches this time to watch one at a time if they want. Any amount of time, if this video gets watched, I'm fine with. All I can say is, if Capcom does in fact listen, then obviously you need someone to take the helm for the Mega Man series. I mean, I understand if you feel that no one can replace the original guy that made Mega Man what it is. I mean, I get that. No one can actually replace the original heart that went into something. But you should at least give it your 100% try. And if it fails, it fails. But think about it this way. Even if it's the worst Mega Man game in general, people will still in fact play it. I mean, think about it. Seriously, just think about it. I myself will actually go to the highest peaks of Mount Fuji if I ever visit Japan. That's right. I will literally go to the highest point of Mount Fuji itself if I ever actually manage to visit Japan. I mean, I'm probably never going to be able to because I personally have money issues. And frankly, I don't know the culture of Japan, so I would probably be very bad at pretty much anything if I ever went. But still, I would like literally just for Mega Man itself, I would definitely go through so many links just to be able to get a new game that's based around Mega Man. Even if it's a bad game, I will still play it. I mean, personally, I probably won't play it very often, but I will at least play it just for the nostalgia, the feeling that I used to have for Mega Man itself. And that right there is just an example, if not a very big one. I need a breather. That, yeah. I mean, when I say I ramble about this, I literally meant that I'm going to ramble. But this, again, had to be said. I mean, even right now, I'm trying not to tear up again. I mean, I can like literally feel my eyes watering just talking about this. I mean, again, I'm not really one for like putting my 2 cents, if not more, in on the whole Mega Man subject because I personally just feel that it will never come to be where Mega Man gets fully revived. I mean, if they do bring out a new person to take the helm for a Mega Man game, if any Mega Man game, then yeah, I can imagine that Capcom will only give the guy like maybe a year at best to basically come out with a singular Mega Man game. I mean, that's just how I feel that it will basically go down. I mean, I don't know how long the last guy that took the helm for Mega Man lasted, but I darn well know that it was less than a year, most likely. But again, who's to say what the reason behind that is? I mean, Capcom probably didn't like the fact that he made promises that they did not personally want to keep, but still, it could have also been like family issues or some other stuff, maybe even a health issue. Either way, I just, yeah, that just pretty much personifies one of the many reasons why I have never spoken until now. Because, again, Capcom, to me, when it comes to Mega Man, just doesn't really have any feelings towards them. I mean, they definitely did a good job with Mega Man 11, which I state again is a game that I have not played. I mean, I have seen gameplay videos of it on YouTube, obviously, but I have never actually played it myself. I kind of want to, and if I ever get the money, I will get the Steam copy of it. But at the same time, I just can't really do it. And frankly, I just don't really know personally what they intend to do with Mega Man, like so many other people. I mean, if they decide to just no longer publish any Mega Man games, then again, please just tell us and let the people who's already made several fan games have actual permission to officially make more. I mean, Mega Man is in itself something that deserves to be preserved. I mean, what's a fan game that I know of that, in my opinion, is actually very good? I think it's called Mega Man Corruption. That is, in fact, a Mega Man game that I know of that's obviously a fan made game, and it has a pretty dynamic story to it. I mean, I'll probably never get to play it, but still, it's just an example of what Mega Man could actually be if put into the hands of people who do Mega Man fan projects. I mean, if Capcom were to hire people on that actually made a Mega Man fan game before, then yeah, that's a good way to go about it. Because it means the Mega Man series would in fact be preserved the way it should be, if not given a different spin on things. Either way, that's just about all I have to say on it. And I want to thank whoever happens to be listening to this, even if you only watch for a few minutes or a few seconds, it doesn't really matter. Because again, I don't think many people are going to be watching this video, or several videos actually. But either way, that's just about all I have to say. And with that, I will see you guys sometime later. But right now, I just